How are you guys doing? Today is Friday, December 3rd, 2021. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I'm going to review the Elite matchups and performances from yesterday, Thursday, December 2nd, and just to take a quick step back and look at where we are in the calendar year. Taking a quick first look at where we are in football. In the college football calendar year, we are actually entering the conference football championships as the regular season has finished. In college basketball, that season's just getting started as well. Looking at the professional leagues, with the MLB season being over for the rest of the year, the NFL still has about the last third of its season to go. And of course, the NBA is about a month into its season as well. Not to mention that the first half of the soccer season is still underway, as once we get to the new year, then we get to the second half of the international soccer schedule. First, taking a look at what is going on at the collegiate level. Nothing from yesterday, but in terms of college football, the Pac-12 championship game will be played today as the 17th ranked Utah Utes are going to face off against the 10th ranked Oregon Ducks. And in college basketball, nothing from yesterday either, as that will continue today. Taking a look at what's going on at the professional level, starting off in the NFL, the New Orleans Saints hosted the Dallas Cowboys for what essentially was the very first matchup of the 13th week of the NFL season. And in this game, the Cowboys would end up beating the Saints 27-17. The Cowboys outscored the Saints 13-7 in the first half. They would go on to outscore the Saints 14-10 in the second half. On the losing end of this matchup, the Saints starting quarterback, Taysom Hill, would throw for 264 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. He also ran for 101 yards, so that would be 365 total yards of offense. Their leading receiver, Deontay Harris, finished with 4 receptions for 96 yards and one of the team's 2 receiving touchdowns. Quan Alexander was the Saints' leading tackler on the day. He had 9 of them. And Marshawn Lattimore, the Saints' elite cornerback, finished with 8 total tackles as he defended 3 passes, and one of those passes defensed was an interception, a 15-yard interception at that. On the winning end of this matchup, the Dallas Cowboys were led by their starting quarterback out of Mississippi State, Dak Prescott. Prescott threw for 238 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. The Cowboys' leading rusher was their starting running back, Tony Pollard. He had 7 carries for 71 yards and a touchdown. He also had 3 reception yards through the air on 2 receptions. That's 74 total yards of offense with his touchdown. The Cowboys' leading receiver was CeeDee Lamb out of Oklahoma. Lamb finished with 7 receptions and 89 yards. On the defensive side of the ball, Anthony Brown was the team's leading tackler. He had 10 of them on the day. And of course, their rising star, their rookie defensive end, Micah Parsons, would have 2 of the team's 2 sacks. The team would record 4 interceptions as Trayvon Diggs would add to his league lead. Jaron Kearse and DeMonte KZ as well. Carlos Watkins would take his 29 yards to the house, as Watkins would also have 2 tackles with his pick 6. With this win, the Dallas Cowboys are now 8-4 on the year, and with this loss, the New Orleans Saints are now 5-7. Taking a look now at what is going on in the NBA following yesterday's lone NFL matchup. Starting off in Madison Square Garden, the New York Knicks hosted the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls would end up beating the Knicks. This matchup would end up being 119-115. The Bulls would beat the Knicks by 4 after they outscored the Knicks by 18 in the first half, and the Knicks brought it closer. They brought the deficit closer, but they just never brought it close enough. On the losing end, the Knicks were led in scoring by their starting power forward, their former All-Star Julius Randle. He finished with 30 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 blocks, and 7 turnovers in 39 minutes. He shot 14 for 21 from the field. And on the winning end of this matchup, the Chicago Bulls were led in scoring by their starting small forward, DeMar DeRozan, out of USC. He would go on to finish with 34 points and 6 rebounds in 38 minutes. He would go on to shoot 12 for 9 from the field and 10 for 11 from the foul line. starting center, their former all-star Nikola Vucevic would finish with 27 points, 7 rebounds as well in 34 minutes as he shot 10 for 18 from the field on the night. And then their starting shooting guard out of UCLA, Zach LaVine, would go on to finish with 27 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists in 35 minutes as he would go on to shoot 9 for 18 from the field, 3 for 6 from 3, and a perfect 6 for 6 from the foul line. With this win, the Chicago Bulls are 15-8, and with this loss, the New York Knicks are now 11-11 on the year. Taking you north of the border, looking in Toronto, the Raptors hosted the defending champs Milwaukee Bucks. The Raptors would end up beating the Bucks on their home court as the Raptors would pull away with a 97-93 win. They outscored the Bucks by 8 in the first half in order to win this matchup. The Bucks on the losing end were led in scoring by their starting point guard out of UCLA, Drew Holiday. He finished with 26 points, 6 rebounds, 8 assists, and 5 turnovers in 37 minutes. He shot 10 for 19 from the field, 4 for 5 from 3, and 2 for 5 from the foul line. Their starting small forward, Chris Middleton, finished with 22 points and 8 rebounds in 35 minutes. He shot 8 for 20 from the field, 2 for 5 from 3, and 4 for 5 from the foul line. On the winning end of this matchup, the Toronto Raptors were led in scoring by their starting shooting guard, Fred VanVleet. VanVleet would finish with 29 points and 5 rebounds in 39 minutes. He shot 9 for 17 from the field, 5 for 10 from 3, and a perfect 6 for 6 from the foul line. Their elite starting power forward, Pascal Siakam, finished with 20 points and 8 rebounds, as well as 4 assists and 6 turnovers as Siakam fouled out in 35 minutes. Siakam shot 9 for 18 from the field, 1 for 4 from 3, and 1 for 2 from the foul line. With this win, the Toronto Raptors are now 10-13. With this loss, the Milwaukee Bucks are now 14-9 on the season. Jumping down to Memphis, the Grizzlies hosted the Oklahoma City Thunder, and the Grizzlies would end up beating the Thunder 152-79. This win by 73 is the largest deficit at the end of an NBA game in its history. The Grizzlies outscored the Oklahoma City Thunder by 15 points in the first half, 21 in the second quarter, which would be so 15 in the first quarter, 21 in the second quarter, which is 36 in the first half. They outscored the Thunder by 15 in the third quarter, and then they outscored the Thunder by another 22 in the fourth quarter, combining for another 37-point deficit in the second half. On the losing end of this matchup, the Oklahoma City Thunder were led in scoring by their starting small forward out of Arizona State, Lou Dort. Lou Dort finished with 15 points in 25 minutes as he would go on to shoot 3 for 8 from the field and 7 for 8 from the foul line, as he had a plus-minus of -53. On the winning end of this matchup, the Thunder were led by their starting power, or the Grizzlies were led by their starting power forward out of Michigan State, Jaren Jackson Jr. He finished with 27 points, 2 steals, and 2 blocks in 20 minutes as he shot 9 for 11 from the field, 6 for 7 from 3, he shot a perfect 3 for 3 from the foul line. He had a plus-minus of +42. Their power forward off the bench, Santi Aldama, would finish with a plus-minus of 52, or a +52 for the game. That would be the highest. And with this win, the Memphis Grizzlies are now 12-10, and with this loss, the Oklahoma City Thunder are now 6-16 on the year. Jumping out to Phoenix, the Phoenix Suns were able to continue their winning streak as they were able to beat the Detroit Pistons in Phoenix 114-103. The Suns were able to outscore the Pistons by 18 in the first half. And on the losing end of this matchup, the Pistons were led in scoring by their starting small forward, Jeremy Grant. He finished with 34 points, 6 rebounds, and a couple of steals in 38 minutes. He shot 10 for 19 from the field, 2 for 3 from 3, and 12 for 14 from the foul line. The Phoenix Suns were led in scoring by their point guard off the bench, Cam Payne. Cam Payne finished with 19 points and 6 rebounds in 21 minutes as he shot 8 for 14 from the field, 1 for 1 from 3, and 2 for 2 from the foul line. And then their other Cam on the bench, Cam Johnson, would finish with 19 points and 6 rebounds in 27 minutes as the former UNC Tar Heel would finish with finished shooting 7 for 11 from the field, 4 for 6 from 3, and he would end up shooting 1 for 2 from the foul line. With this win, the Phoenix Suns are now 19-3, and with this loss, the Detroit Pistons are now 4-18. Last but not least, jumping up to Portland, the Trailblazers hosted the San Antonio Spurs. The Spurs would end up beating the Blazers 114-83, beating the Blazers on their own home, beating the Blazers in Portland by 31 after the Spurs outscored the Blazers by 21 in the first half. On the losing end of this matchup, the Portland Trailblazers were led in scoring by their starting small forward, Norman Powell. He finished with 16 points in 29 minutes. He shot 3 for 13 from the field and a perfect 8 for 8 from the foul line. Their starting shooting guard, CJ McCollum, finished with 16 points, 2 steals, and 3 blocks in 32 minutes. He shot 7 for 18 from the field on the day. And on the winning end of this matchup, the San Antonio Spurs were led in scoring by their shooting guard off the bench, Bryn Forbes. Bryn Forbes finished with 18 points and 2 steals in 15 minutes. He shot 7 for 9 from the field, 3 for 5 from 3, and he made his only free throw attempt of the day. With this win, the San Antonio Spurs are now 7-13. With this loss, the Portland Trailblazers are now 11-12. Taking a look at what went down internationally, starting off in the Premier League, Tottenham was able to beat Brentford at home 2-0 as their second goal came from their elite Korean forward, Son Heung-min. And Manchester United hosted Arsenal, and Manchester United pulled away with a 3-2 win thanks to the ultimate equalizer. I guess I'll take you through. Arsenal scored the first goal in the first half off of Smith Rowe. Bruno Fernandes, Manchester United's elite Portuguese center attacking mid, would score Man U's first goal in the 44th minute to tie it up at 1. Cristiano Ronaldo, Man U's goated Portuguese forward, would score the 52nd minute goal in order to put Man U up 2-1. Odegaard would score 2 minutes later for Arsenal to even the game up at 2, and then Ronaldo's 70th minute pin would end up giving Manchester United what they needed in order to win this matchup. Very big one as well. Lazio hosted Udinese in the Italian Serie A, and Lazio was able to draw 4-4 as both teams picked up a red card. Udinese picked up 2 red cards. Lazio would get their first goal from their elite Italian striker, Ciro Immobile. With that said, that is virtually what is going on, as additionally to that, we do have a good amount of Spanish Copa del Rey matchups, but none of the really big ones. But with that said, I want to thank everyone once again for listening to all 12 minutes of this piece. I want to thank ESPN, the NCAA, NFL, and NBA websites for giving me all the stats and figures, because without them, I wouldn't be able to do that. And of course, like I said, I want to thank everyone once again. And once all of today's exhibitions and matchups are done, I'm going to come back tomorrow on Saturday, December 4th for another episode of The Elite. And until then, I want to thank everyone once again for listening. I hope all is well, and I'll catch you with more tomorrow. Peace out.